This tutorial is on basic animation in Max. I'm this vegetation in GD240, and it's a typical, sunny day vegetation. A lot of it is using opacity maps. Well, I had, let me show you the animation with the scene. Obviously, the scene has changed. A dark sky, an evening sky. So we're going for eerie. Then I had another one of my students create these gnarly tree textures, the spindly parts of the tree out of opacity maps, just like we did the leaf. How I darken things, have it right here. So if you'll notice, here is dark, deciduous, and this is the original. It's light. And I darkened it. This is the original dry brush that's on the ground. I darkened it, and this is the original grass, and right here. See how I darkened it? So that is basically what occurred. Here we are in the scene, and I want to show you how I animated that. And I started with creating a camera. Now, first of all, I have a light in here, right? I have this light here. Let me hit G to get rid of my grid. Okay, I have this light here, and what I did was it's on multiplier. It's 158. This changes things drastically. You'll notice here it'll show when I increase, let's say, to 5. It gets brighter to 1, gets darker. I had it at 1.58. Let me leave it there. Another way to darken it is darkening the color using black or variations of. So I'm going to leave it approximately where I was, and perhaps I am going to copy this light that I have by hitting Shift on my keyboard, moving it in front. Maybe I want double shadows. I'm going to create copy. See, I'm going to hit copy here because if I hit instance, then anything I do to this light is going to happen with this light, and I want them to be different. So I'm going to hit OK and leave it as copy so that it is unique. Another way, if I did hit instance and I want it to be unique, I could click that. It's grayed out now because it's already unique. Now, what I'm going to do is make this light a little bit darker because in my scene it's probably very light now that I have two lights, and bring the opacity maybe down to 0.2. Okay, to test this, let me go into my render setup, hit render, make sure that I have it in single output. Right now I have it the measurements of YouTube because I'm creating an animation. YouTube pixel dimensions is 1280 by 720. Then I'm going into my file, I'm not saving it. Okay, so I'm going to select the viewport of my camera and I'm going to render it out to see what my lighting did. Now, again, this is trial and error. Much of a difference. I have shadows going this way, but the idea was to make them going that way. It's good. So let's go with what we've got. And you'll notice that I have a camera in there that was from the animation I just showed you, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to create another camera. So I go into my camera, and I'm not going to use a target. Even though this one was a target, notice that would be the target for this camera. But I'm going to try to twirl this, not twirl, but I'm going to spin it up as if the individual, the first person whose eyes we're seeing through as the camera, is starting like he is laying on his side with his head against the ground and then waking up and standing up to see the graves. So let me create the camera in my top-down view. Okay, there it is. If you'll notice in my front view, the default is of it pointing down. So, and I can see what that camera is seeing by going over to here and clicking this camera. Okay, so that must be the second camera I made. See, it's looking at the ground. It's seeing nothing. So let me go into my front view and I'm going to rotate it. And I can actually do it more exact if I right click on here and I get this absolute world. See this? And if I scroll, no, I don't want it to go that way, so I'm going to go edit undo. And this will do it on the next one. And then this, I'm going to scroll like that. See, that's going to get me what I want to see. The problem is I am currently on the ground. So let me lift it up. My other camera is conveniently at 5'8", which would be the average height of a person, so everything looks realistic. Remember, suspension of disbelief. Let me go to my create menu. Let me grab my helper, tape, and make sure that this camera is at, this appears to be my ground plane. I have a lot going on here, but okay, it's at 4.7. Let's 5.9 is right about here. Let me move my camera up like such. Okay, so I have it here. Oh, but he's standing, and that wasn't the idea to begin with. Okay, I should have left him on the floor, but since he's standing and that is at a spot that I want to get him to, let me get his view adequate. Okay, I'm using the center scroll of my mouse to do a lot of this, and I have my orbit tool on so that I can see I can orbit back and forth. And I'm doing that all manually in the camera viewport. Okay, so this is where he's standing. Why don't we make this right here? Because remember, I'm going to start him. This is the beginning of my animation. I'm going to start him sideways as if he's lying down. But now that I have this here, let's create a key there. And I'm going to hit auto. Auto key means now this is all red, it means that everything I do is going to be recorded. So right now I am standing, and I haven't done anything, so nothing is recorded. Let me just give it a little bit of a nudge like that. Okay, now I have a keyframe, you will notice. See, voila. And it's on auto frame, so I gotta warn you, a lot of what you do is going to be changed automatically. So keep that in mind, and there's sort of a domino effect in that too. Okay, so here I'm at my first frame. Let me manually rotate this frame using my orbit tool. Let's see if I can. No. Okay, I'm gonna hit undo. It's not gonna work that way. So instead, I'm gonna go into my front view, and I am going to rotate him this way. See, that can work very well. Complicates things. See when I. Okay, so now he's lying in the opposite direction, but pretty decent. What the target allows me to do then is select the target and arrange where his view is pointing. Okay, I'm going to hope that this is nothing. Okay, let's give this a quick render. Now I'm going to go into my render setup. Oops, I'm going to go into my render setup, and I'm going to make sure that I've got some settings correct. Okay, so I want a single frame. I don't want to save my file because I'm just testing it. That's the YouTube dimensions, but let's test it quickly. So I'm going to change it to 320. Okay, so that. Okay. Let's give it another quick render. It's decent. It's decent, but okay, point being, this is an animation tutorial. So hopefully now I have him set up there correctly in his keyframes. This should be his first keyframe. He should be on the side. Let's hit play and see what happens. Now I have to have this viewport selected so that I can see it. See, I've lost it. I've lost it. It's very frustrating. I shouldn't have tried to fix it. Okay, well, this is time wasted, but we're going to fix it. We're going to get him facing the right way. Here, which would be 180. See, a target makes this less accurate. Darn it. Okay, so manually I did it. Now he's standing. And I had it on this keyframe, recall, and it's on auto keys. Okay, so it may not be the best, but remember also, I changed my the size of my render, and I'm going to keep it at, I need to see what this looks like in my viewport. So here's the YouTube measurements. Okay, so I'm still looking good. I'm still looking good. Now let's do a quick, okay, so he's lying down. Oops, I'm not, see, I don't have this viewport selected. So let me bring it back here. Okay, we may have a problem. Yeah, because he dips. He dips. But for the sake of this tutorial, I am just going to render this out now because that's a shame. Okay, yeah. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Okay, so he stands up. Okay, I think that this is actually too quick. Yeah, he's standing up too quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this keyframe, and I'm basically going to move it because first I have to have my camera selected because it's not enough time, yeah, between our keyframes. See how quick? Too quick. So I'm going to take this keyframe where he's standing up and I'm going to move it this way to allow for more frames, so it takes longer time for him to do it. So now let's see if this is any better. Yeah, a little bit slower. See how that works? I mean, maybe I'll drag it out even more. Okay, so now we can render this out. Let's see, render, setup. Okay, so range, we're gonna go until, yeah, that's where my, okay, 50 might still work. And we are going to save this as graveyard YouTube move. See, it's a .move file because that is what YouTube likes. So I'm going to say movie. Okay, save. Now I'm going to hit render and I will record this rendering a few of the frames. However, I will then cut in the final animation for the sake of time.